after months of trial and error and sleepless nights over what a lot of folks might say is a weird problem to have or to create for yourself, I finally was able to solve the minimum weight issue that I was having with my Rep Aries 2.0. I love this rack, but it really bothered me that accessory lifts like lateral raises or rear delt flies were too heavy for some of my clients to utilize. So I set out on a journey to fix that. I was able to piecemeal some things together that solved the problem, but just, I'll be honest, used way too many carabiners and then were just kind of ugly. And I finally settled on some utility hooks from Buffalo Bully that did the job, but I had to drill holes into them. The carabiners were a pretty tight fit. And finally, I luckily came across WM Fabrication. And so shout out to those guys. I found their goblet squat attachment, but upon finding that, I realized they did custom fabrication work. So thanks to you guys for not laughing at me and actually creating this solution. So I want to show you guys the final solution here that WM Fabrication helped me create. And now I have weight stacks that are light enough to do those auxiliary movements. All right, so this is what myself and WM Fabrication came up with. So my biggest issue in the past was not having a high enough pulley point for the band, and so when it would reach a certain distance on the movement, the band would lose all the tension. And so needing to attach something higher up was really a big part of the solution. However, I also just like the idea of this thing looking nice and having maybe multiple use cases. So I could see this being used for different attachment points on your rack, whether that be for storage or other things. So I think it's a cool creation nonetheless. But for my creation specifically and what I wanted it to accomplish, it's certainly done that. But I really do appreciate those guys. You know, I was like, this is a weird ask, but this is what I'm trying to solve for. And we came up with this solution together. Initially, we were looking at maybe having two 1-inch bolt attach points, but after realizing that it wouldn't probably create too much torque within and movement with just a band on there, we just settled on one. And so, like I said, this thing looks very clean. I think it turned out great. And I'll show you guys kind of what the final solution looks like with the bands attached. All right, so here's what it looks like. It just attaches with a 1-inch bolt, which I have tons of extras that I got with this Rep Aries. And as you can see, the attachment point is much higher than it was in the original solution I created with the Buffalo Bullies, as that was more like down here. And so I'll show you guys what it looks like with the attachment point and how the band tension stays consistent throughout. So what you do here is you attach your carabiner to whatever attachment point you want, and I like that it has a few options so you can decide how much tension you actually want on there. And then you would attach to the bottom here. It is fully stretched here. And now when you go to do a movement here on something like a lateral raise, I'm doing the full range of motion here, and that band still has tension and is getting a little bit of assistance on it. But like I said, there's a ton of variability you can create. You can use lighter bands. These are the Stroop bands that I've shown in the past. You can do a 10, this is I think a 15 pound, you can do a 20 pound, you can do a 10 pound, and you could also attach at different points if you don't need the resistance to be as long as it is in some areas. All right, so all in all, finally finished what I set out to do, but like I said, shout out to WM Fabrication for your help on this. They do great work. You guys should check out some of the stuff they have for sale, but also if you're looking for something custom made, I've seen them do some really cool things with uprights, as well as other pieces, and I've got a couple ideas that I've been talking with them about when it comes to rack attachments. So take a look at their stuff. Hopefully, pray to God, I never have to make another video about band assistance on cable machines, but I appreciate all you guys checking it out. Like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you guys have any other ideas. Thanks.